Okay, so in this video, we're going to be talking about these four components in React Native: the view, text, image, and the style sheet. So, core components in React Native are the basic building block used to build user interface. They are provided by React Native itself and work across both iOS and Android. So, so let's get started. Now, as you can see, I've started my development server using the npx expo start. npx expo start, so you use it to start your development server. Then I'll open my app on the emulator. So let's get started. Now, on app.js, a function was exported by default, so the name is app. So here is where we're going to render our core components, the view. So let's start with the view. So what is the view? The is just used to lay out UI elements. Okay, it's just like a container component used to lay out UI elements. So it's similar to the div in the HTML. So now component in React Native starts with capital letter. So I'm going to put the return keyword here, and then inside the return keyword, I'm going to call the view component itself. All right, so I'm going to call view, and components in React Native start with capital letter and they must be imported from React Native. So I'm going to call the view, then I'll close it, and then the closing tag will be created for me. Then at the top, I can also import view from React Native, or simply I can just press Control on both Mac and Windows, Control space bar where my cursor is clicking, and it's going to select or give me providers where I can import view from. So it's still loading. So sometimes if it doesn't come up like this, it's usually maybe your PC just started booting or something. So as you can see, I have React Native here. So I'm going to click this view, and view will be imported from React Native for me. Okay, so next is I'm going to call out the text component. So what is the text component? The text component is just used for displaying text, to render text. All right, so I'm going to put hello React Native as a text. So I'm going to also call text and import it. Then closing tag will be created for me. So say hello React Native. So also I'm going to import text from React Native. Yeah, select that. Now text has been imported for me. So when I just save, at the top of my emulator I have hello React Native, but I just need to add more spaces. So that will now lead us to style sheet. So what is style sheet in React Native? So the style sheet is used to create and organize component styles. So we just use it to beautify the components we've created, we've imported. All right, so let's see how we do that. Now, I'm going to come down here and export. I don't need to export, I just need to create a component here, create styles for the style sheet. So I'm going to say style sheet. Then it also needs to be imported from React Native as well. Dot create. So the create there, it's a method from the style sheet. Then inside, I'm going to open my object bracket and I will split it down. All right. So moving on. Now we're going to style these components. At least we just need to add a margin top to the component so that our text will start displaying above below the status bar or the note of your iOS and yeah, your iPhone. All right, so I'm going to come to the opening tag of the view called style. So the style there is a prop in React Native. So is similar to that of um, the HTML, which is called attribute. In HTML, it's called attribute, but in React Native, it's called prop. So I'm going to make reference to these styles here. So these styles, I'm going to make reference to the styles. Then I'll call styles dot container. All right, styles dot container. Alright, so then with the help of Stylesheet, we now have style properties like that of CSS, like the background color, the padding, the margin, and all that. So I'm going to come down here. I'll call the container. So I just made reference to the container which I'm about to write here. So here is the container. So container, and the next thing I need to do is container will be an object because the value of style is going to be an object. You can also impute an array, that is if you want to import or if you want to impute multiple objects as a value of style. So you can also use an array. But for now, we're going to stick to this object, okay, being the value of style on this component or view. Alright, so I'm going to call a property called margin top. Then the margin top is going to come up since we are using style sheets. I'm just going to say the margin top, I need space at the top of my emulator, so 50. So save that, and our text is going to drop back here. So that is it. Now I'm also going to call padding, which represents the space inside the box, which is the container, right? The view. So save that, and we have padding, space around. All right. So there we go. There we have our padding. Okay. So next is the text. You can also style the text. You can do something like this. Style is equal to double objects. Can you see? So I'm imputing objects as the value of this style, and this object is the value of this style. Alright, so I'm going to call uh, font size written like this is going to be 30. Save that, and our font size is going to get bigger. Alright, so you can also do something like text align center, and it's going to align the text to the center. Okay, so that is our text component. Now another thing we could also add, the last is let's just add one more text here. So I'm going to duplicate this line of code by pressing shift alternate arrow down, and I'm going to remove this align item, the font size. I'll just simply make it 15. That's 15. Okay, then next is I'm going to remove this old text and just get some text. So just copy some text and paste those text inside the text components. Alright, so paste that in, and yeah, we have our text. So save that. We're going to have text like this. Okay, so another thing we could do is we can also specify the margin top here, alright, 50, so that this text will not be that close to the hello React Native. So I'm going to add margin top, then the value of margin top is, let's say, 10, and then see our text has just shifted away from the hello React Native. Okay, now the next thing we're going to add is the image component. So I'm going to call the image component from React Native. So import the image component from React Native, select that, and it's a self-closing tag, right? Not like the text and the view that has the opening tag and the closing tag. So the image is a self-closing tag. So it's the image component is used for displaying text locally. It's used for displaying images locally or remote URLs. Okay, you can use it to display image from your local machine or from a remote URL. So I'm going to check on assets. So assets is a folder where images are stored. Not that you can't put images anywhere else on the app, but it's just better if you put them here, best practice. So I have an image here for the user. So this is the image, and I want to display this image on my emulator. So I'm going back to app.js, then I'm going to call that the image. All right, it's going to be coming from. So the prop you're going to use is called source. Right, the value of source is going to be a function. All right, the value of source is going to be a function. The name of the function is require. So require is used for loading image from your locally, loading image locally from your file or your PC. All right, so the value of this, the attribute we're going to be passing, the argument we're going to be passing on this function is going to be a string, which is the location of the image of user. All right, so I'm going to say dot forward slash because I want to enter into this folder assets. So you're going to see that assets is mentioned here and select it forward slash, then you write the user dot jpg. All right, so when you save that, you're going to have a huge image showing on your emulator. So that is nice. Then let's style emulator. I'm going to style emulator. So I'm going to call star is equal to styles, which is this constant here, dot img image. Then we're going to define the styles for the image. So I'm going to say that the image style is going to have a width and height so that we want to resize this image because it's very big. Okay, I want it to look like a real profile image. All right, so uh, define your object and you define your width and also the height. So I'm going to say the width is going to be 5 or let's say, okay, let's say 100 by 100 to make it a perfect square. So the height also is going to be 100. So when you save that, we have our image like this. All right, so I think we still need to increase it a little more. So increase it to 200. Save that. Yeah, we have our image. Then I want the image to be far away from this text. So you know that already. That should be margin top. All right, margin top. Let's say margin top of 20. All right, save that. And yeah, you have the image. So this is how we display image. You can keep going and writing. You can keep writing more properties on your image, and then let's just add one more property. If you want to add to make this a complete circle, you just need to add this property called border radius. Border radius, you can add a number like if you say 20, it's going to give it a cutting edge of 20. All right, so when you increase it, you keep having more values like this. See, it's not a complete circle here, but when you set it to a higher number, and it's going to give you a complete circle. So thank you. This is how you display images, the text, or in your React Native. So these are the four custom component core components in React Native. Thank you for watching this video. See you on the next one.